The mining ship Dauntless drifted quietly through the asteroid belt. Captain Ja Kim stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the scanner. At 42, she had spent half her life in space. The scars on her hands told stories of hard work. Before mining, she had been a soldier. Those years had taught her to sense danger. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," said Han, her communications officer. His fingers moved quickly over the control panel. Jia walked to his station. "Show me." "It's big. Too big for this sector. And it's not answering our calls." Jia felt a cold knot in her stomach. In 15 years of deep space mining, she had never seen pirates, but she had heard stories. "Sound the alarm." "Battle stations," she ordered. Her voice was calm but firm. Red lights flashed through the ship. The 6 crew members ran to their posts. Sun, the engineer, sealed all doors to the engine room. Tai, the medic, grabbed emergency supplies. The ship shook violently. "We're hit," yelled Min from the weapons station. "Shields at 60%. Jia gripped the command rail. "Return fire. Target their engines." The Dauntless fired back, but the enemy ship was too strong. Another hit rocked the ship. "They've knocked out our engines," Sun reported over the comm. "Weapons are failing too." "Everyone arm yourselves," Jia ordered. She pulled a laser pistol from under the console. "They're going to board us." The crew gathered on the bridge, weapons ready. They were miners, not warriors, but all humans from Earth knew how to fight. It was in their blood. A loud crash echoed through the ship. The enemy had forced their way in. "Stay together," Jia said. "Aim for the head or chest. Don't waste shots." Heavy footsteps approached the bridge. The door burst open. Jia's eyes widened. These weren't human pirates. They were aliens, tall, with gray-blue skin and 4 arms. Each alien stood nearly 8 feet tall, with muscles that seemed to be made of stone. Their faces had no noses, just breathing slits, and their eyes were black and cold. "Fire!" Jia shouted. Laser blasts hit the first alien, but it barely slowed down. The crew kept shooting as more aliens poured through the door. One grabbed Min, lifting him off the ground with one arm. Jia shot the alien in the eye. It roared in pain and dropped Min, but there were too many of them. Within minutes, the crew was disarmed and forced to their knees. Jia had managed to injure 3 aliens before they took her down. A larger alien entered the bridge. Its armor was decorated with strange symbols. It was clearly the leader. "Which one commands?" it asked in rough, broken English. None of the crew spoke. The alien leader looked at them one by one, then pointed at Jia. "This one, the female with fighting eyes." 2 aliens grabbed Jia and forced her to stand before their leader. "I am Dreth of the Vorek," the leader said. "Your ship and crew now belong to us. You will work in our mines until you die." Jia spat at his feet. "We are citizens of Earth. Our people will come looking for us." Dreth laughed, a sound like rocks grinding together. "Many say this. None come." He turned to his soldiers. "Show the crew what happens to those who resist." The aliens holding Jia threw her to the floor. Then the beating began. Fists like iron hammers struck her again and again. She refused to scream. Each blow that didn't break her taught her something about her enemy, how they moved, where they put their weight, the rhythm of their attacks. Through blood-filled eyes, Jia saw her crew watching in horror. She locked eyes with Tai, giving him a small nod. The message was clear. Remember, learn, survive. The aliens seemed surprised that she was still conscious. "Earth humans are stronger than they look," Dreth said, studying Jia with new interest. "Take them to the ship. This one goes to isolation." As they dragged her away, Jia's mind was already working, planning, calculating. They thought they had broken her. They had only taught her how to break them. Jia woke up in darkness. Her body ached from the beating. She lay on a cold metal floor in a small cell. The only light came from a thin line under the door. For 3 days, she saw no one. Food, a gray paste that tasted like wet paper, appeared through a slot in the door twice a day. Water came in a metal cup. Jia ate and drank everything. She needed strength. On the 4th day, the ship shuddered and stopped moving. They had arrived somewhere. The cell door opened. 2 Vorek guards dragged Jia out. Bright light blinded her as they stepped off the ship. When her eyes adjusted, Jia saw a huge mining operation spread across a rocky planet. Hundreds of aliens of different species worked under the watch of armed Vorek guards. Some pushed carts full of glowing blue rocks. Others worked with drills and picks, breaking down the stone walls of a massive pit. "Welcome to Draketh 7, said a voice behind her. Dreth walked up, looking pleased. "Your new home. Forever." The guards pushed Jia forward into a crowd of tired workers heading toward a large building. Inside, she was separated from the group and taken to a small room. A human man waited there. He looked to be in his 30s, with tired eyes and a thin face. "I'm Ta," he said after the guards left. "Colony medical officer. I need to check your injuries." "Where's my crew?" Jia asked as Tai examined her bruises. "Processing. They'll be assigned jobs based on their skills." Ta's fingers were gentle as he cleaned a cut on her forehead. "You're the captain, right? They'll keep you separate. The Vorek always isolate leaders." Jia watched him carefully. "How long have you been here?" 2 years. I was a doctor on a research ship. The Vorek took us just like they took you." Tai applied a cooling gel to her swollen eye. "You fought back. I can tell by the injuries." "We lost. Everyone loses against the Vorek. They're stronger than most species, and they enjoy breaking new captives." Jia didn't respond. She was studying the room, noting the camera in the corner. Tad leaned closer, pretending to check her ear. "The camera has no sound," he whispered. "They're watching, but they can't hear us." "Tell me about this place," Jia said quietly. "Mining colony for Carthium, that blue rock. Very valuable across the galaxy. About 700 workers from 20 different species. No one has ever escaped. There's always a first time." Ta smiled sadly. "The Vorek control everything. Food, water, air. The nearest inhabited planet is weeks away, even if you could steal a ship." "Who's in charge?" "Overseer Krell. Worse than Dreth. He enjoys making examples of troublemakers." Their conversation ended when the door opened. A large Vorek with a facial scar entered. He wore armor with more decorations than the others. "Captain Jia Kim of Earth," he said, his voice deep and rough. "I am Krell, overseer of Draketh 7. He circled her slowly. "Dreth says you fought well. That you did not break easily." Jia said nothing, but she noted how he moved. His left leg was slightly stiff. "An old injury, perhaps. Earth humans are new to us. We have much to learn about your weaknesses." Krell smiled, showing sharp teeth. "You will work in Tunnel 12, the deepest and hardest section. You will break rocks until your hands bleed. Then you will continue." "I understand," Jia said calmly. Her tone seemed to annoy Krell. He had expected fear. "Take her to the barracks," he ordered the guards. "Work begins tomorrow at first light." As they led her away, Jia caught Ta's eye one last time. He gave her a tiny nod, a promise to find her again. That night, in a small bunk surrounded by alien prisoners, Jia lay awake planning. The Vorek were stronger, but they were also predictable. They relied on fear and pain to control their prisoners. Jia had felt pain before. On Earth, children learned early that pain was just information, useful information. She closed her eyes and whispered to herself. Day 1. 3 months passed. Jia's hands had turned hard with calluses from breaking rocks in Tunnel 12. Her body had grown lean but strong. Each night, she did push-ups and sit-ups in her small space between bunks while the other workers slept. The Vorek had made a mistake. They had not broken her. They had forged her. During mealtimes, Gia sat with different groups each day. She learned their languages, their stories, their skills. She found her crew members one by one. Han worked in communications, fixing the colony's equipment. The Vorik valued his skills too much to waste him in the mines. He had learned their language by listening carefully and pretending to understand less than he did. Their computer systems are old, Han whispered during a rare moment when they passed in a hallway. I could shut them down if we needed to. Sun worked in maintenance. He fixed the mining machines and studied how they worked. He had secretly modified small tools, making them easier to remove from the work sites. The Vorik don't check the tool count carefully, Sun told Jia when they met at the water station. They think they're too smart to need to check. Jia smiled. On Earth, there was a saying, pride comes before a fall. Ta helped the most. As medical officer, he could move around the colony more freely. He carried messages between Jia and the others. He also taught her about Vorik bodies. Their skin is tough, but they have nerve clusters here and here, Tai explained, pointing to spots on his own neck and under his arms. And their knee joints bend backward. Hit them here, and they fall. Jia stored every piece of information. She built a map of the colony in her mind. She counted guard shifts and noted when they changed. She watched which doors needed key cards and which used hand scans. Most importantly, she built trust with species who had never seen humans before. The blue-skinned Navari, who could hold their breath for hours. The small, quick Rill, who could fit through narrow spaces. The massive Dorn, whose strength matched the Vorik, but who had been beaten into submission long ago. Why should we help you? Asked Graham, an old Dorn who had been in the colony for 10 years. The Vorik will kill us all. Because humans don't accept cages, Jia said. And we're good at opening doors for others. Each night, in the 5 minutes before the lights went out, Jia taught fighting skills to those who would learn. Not Vorik fighting with its reliance on strength, but human fighting. How to use an enemy's weight against them. How to strike at weak points. How to fight when you were smaller or weaker. On Earth, we learned to fight bigger predators, she explained to a group of Rill. We were never the strongest. We had to be the smartest. The Rill nodded. They understood being underestimated. Then came the day when Overseer Krell noticed production was dropping in sections where Jia's allies worked. Small equipment failures, rock slides that blocked tunnels, workers who seemed to move slower than before. Krell came to Tunnel 12 himself. He found Jia breaking rocks, her face focused. Production is down, he said. Strange things are happening. Jia looked up with innocent eyes. The equipment is old. Things break. Krell grabbed her arm, pulling her to her feet. You? It's you. He looked into her eyes. You should be broken by now. Why aren't you broken? Jia stared back calmly. Maybe you're not as good at breaking things as you think. Krell's face twisted with rage. He dragged Jia to the center of the main mining pit. He called all workers to stop and watch. This human thinks she is strong, he announced. Let us test her strength. The beating that followed was worse than the first. Krell used a shock baton that sent electricity through Joe's body with each hit. But with each shock, each painful blow, Jia counted the seconds between Krell's attacks. She noted how he moved, where he was slow, when he had to catch his breath. Even as blood ran down her face, Jia smiled inside. The Vorik still didn't understand. On Earth, pain was a teacher, and Jia was learning. 6 months had passed since the capture. Jia lay on her bunk, eyes closed but mind active. Her body still ached from Krell's beating 3 days ago, but the pain was useful. It kept her angry. It kept her focused. Someone sat down beside her. It was Ta. Medical check, he said loudly for the cameras. Then he whispered, I have news. Jia kept her eyes closed as he pretended to check her bruises. Tell me. A Vorik warship is coming. Arriving in 7 days. They're bringing new prisoners and taking some of the blue rocks. Jia's mind raced. A warship meant more guards, but also more confusion. Confusion could be useful. Get everyone together, she whispered. Tonight. Maintenance Tunnel B, during third shift. Ta nodded and moved on to check another worker. That night, while most of the colony slept, 20 beings from 7 different species crowded into a narrow maintenance tunnel. Han had looped the security camera to show an empty tunnel. Jia looked at the faces around her. Her crew was there. Han, Sun, Min, and 2 others. There were 5 Rill, their small bodies able to slip through tight spaces. 3 Navari with their blue skin. 4 Dorn, including old Graham. And others who had proven they could be trusted. We have one chance, Jia said quietly. The warship arrives in 7 days. We move tomorrow. Surprised whispers filled the tunnel. Why so soon? Asked Graham. We're not ready. We will never be more ready, Jia replied. When the warship comes, security will double. And I've learned they plan to move some of us to another colony. What is the plan? Asked Locke, a Navari who had become one of Jia's most trusted allies. Jia knelt and drew a map of the colony in the dust on the floor. 5 teams. First, Han, and the tech group will cut power to sections C through F. That will force the guards to spread out to check the systems. Han nodded. I can do it, but only for 10 minutes before the backups kick in. 10 minutes is enough, Jia continued. Second team, led by Sun, will secure the tool room and arm as many workers as possible. Sun held up a small device. I made this from mining parts. It can cut through Voric armor at the joints. Third team, Navari, will take the water treatment plant. Fourth, Rill will secure the small maintenance tunnels to give us escape routes. Jia pointed to the center of her map. The command center is our main target. That's where I'll go with Team 5. The fighters. We take control of communications. We control the colony. And Krell? Asked Ta. Jia's eyes hardened. Krell is mine. She looked around the circle. This won't be easy. Some of us will die. But we die anyway, slowly in these mines. At least this way we choose how. Graham, who had been quiet, finally spoke. I've been here 10 years. I watched friends die. I stopped believing freedom was possible. He looked at Jia with new eyes. Humans are strange. So soft on the outside, so hard inside. On Earth, Jia said, we have a saying. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. The Voric didn't kill us. They just made us stronger. As the meeting broke up, Ta stayed behind with Jia. I've made medical packs, he said, showing her small bundles of supplies. And this. He handed her a small vial. A stimulant. It will keep you going even when your body wants to quit. Jia took it and put it in her pocket. Thank you. Are you sure about tomorrow? Tai asked. We could wait, plan more. Jia shook her head. The longer we wait, the more chances for someone to talk. The Voric expect us to be weak, to need more time. That's why we move now. As she walked back to her bunk, Jia felt calm. Tomorrow would bring freedom or death. Either was better than another day breaking rocks. In her mind, she pictured Earth, blue oceans, green forests, a place where humans had evolved facing dangers at every turn, where pain and struggle had shaped them into beings who never, ever gave up. The Voric were about to learn what that meant. The next day seemed normal. Workers went to their posts. Guards watched with bored eyes. No one suspected what was coming. Jia worked in Tunnel 12, breaking rocks like any other day. But under her mining clothes, she had wrapped strips of metal around her forearms and shins as makeshift armor. The small vial from Tide was tucked safely in her pocket. At exactly mid-shift, when guard rotation was happening, the lights went out in sections C through F. Alarms began to sound. Power failure in multiple sections, announced a voice over the speakers. All guards report to emergency stations. Jia dropped her mining tool and nodded to the 3 Dorn working nearby. It was time. As guards rushed to check the power systems, Jia's team moved. In the darkness, they took down 2 guards at the tunnel entrance. The Dorn's strength made the fight quick and quiet. Jia took a shock baton from one fallen guard. "Move to the command center," she ordered. 5 workers followed her through the darkened hallways. Meanwhile, across the colony, Sun and his team broke into the tool storage room. They quickly passed out the tools they had modified into weapons. Mining drills became spears. Cutting tools became knives. In the water treatment plant, the Navari easily overcame the 2 guards. Their ability to hold their breath let them hide underwater until the perfect moment to strike. "Water plant secure," Locke reported through a stolen comm unit. The small rill raced through maintenance tunnels, setting traps for guards and marking safe paths for workers. Jill's group reached the hallway outside the command center. 4 guards stood at the door, alert and nervous about the power failure. "Remember what I taught you," Jia said to her team. "Hit the joints, strike the neck, use their size against them." She swallowed the contents of Ta's vial. Energy surged through her body. Now, they rushed the guards. The Vorik were surprised by the direct attack. They expected fear, not aggression. Jia faced the largest guard. He swung at her with a massive fist. She ducked under his arm and struck the back of his knee, just where Ta had taught her the nerves were closest to the skin. The guard stumbled. Jia hit him again with the shock baton, aiming for the neck. He fell. Around her, her team fought with the skills she had taught them, not trying to match Vorik's strength, but targeting weak points, using speed and surprise. In 2 minutes, all 4 guards were down. Jia took a key card from the lead guard and swiped it at the door. It opened. Inside the command center, 3 Vorik officers turned in shock. One reached for an alarm button. A Navari threw a knife, pinning his hand to the console. "Don't move," Jia ordered, pointing her shock baton at them. One officer tried to rush her. Jia sidestepped, using his momentum to send him crashing into a wall. She struck his neck hard with the baton. He collapsed. "Command center secure," Jia said into a stolen comm unit. "Han, get up here." Han arrived minutes later. He went straight to the main console. "I can control all systems from here," he said, fingers flying over the controls. Shutting down internal security doors. Locking the Vorik barracks. Jia looked at the colony status displays. Most sections were now under worker control. Sun's team had armed nearly 200 workers. The medical bay was secure, with Ta treating the injured. But a red warning flashed on one screen. "What's that?" Jia asked. "Krell," Han said grimly. "He's in Section A with his personal guards. They've secured that area and are preparing to fight back." Jia studied the layout of Section A. It was separate from the main colony, with its own power supply. Krell had been smart enough to create a fortress within the colony. How many guards with him? At least 20. The best fighters. Jia thought for a moment. "Have Sun meet me at entrance A1 with his best weapons. Tell Locke to bring 2 Navari." "You're going after Krell." Han looked worried. "Even with the Dorn, we don't have the numbers to take Section A by force." Jia smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. "We don't need force. We have something better." "What's that?" "Human cleverness," Jia said. "And Krell's pride." Jia stood outside the sealed door to Section A. With her were Sun, 2 massive Dorn, and 3 Navari, including Locke. Each held weapons made from mining tools. "Are you sure this will work?" asked Sun, holding a small device he had built. "No," Jia admitted, "but Krell is proud. He thinks he's smarter than us. That's his weakness." She picked up a comm unit and switched to the emergency channel. "Overseer Krell, this is Captain Ja Kim. I want to talk." Silence for a moment, then Krell's voice came through. The human who isn't broken yet. He sounded amused. "What is there to talk about? You will all die when the warship arrives. Maybe. But your superiors won't be happy when they learn you lost control of a valuable mining colony to slaves. A longer silence. Ja knew she had hit a nerve. What do you want? Krell finally asked. A fight. You and me. If you win, the workers will stand down. If I win, you order your guards to surrender. Krell laughed. You think you can beat me in combat? I am twice your size. Human. Then you have nothing to fear, Jia said, unless you're afraid to face me alone. The door to Section A slid open. Krell stood there, surrounded by guards. He was even larger than Jia remembered, nearly 9 feet tall, his gray-blue skin covered in battle scars. I accept your challenge, he said, but not out of fear. Out of curiosity. I want to see how Earth humans fight when they know they will die. Guards and workers formed a large circle in the main mining pit. Word had spread quickly. Hundreds watched as Jia and Krell faced each other in the center. Krell removed his upper armor, showing massive muscles. He carried a shock staff, longer and more powerful than the batons the regular guards used. Jia wore only her thin mining clothes with the metal strips underneath. She held a mining pick in one hand. Begin when ready, called a Vorik officer. Krell didn't wait. He charged at Jia, swinging his staff. She rolled to the side, barely avoiding the blow. The staff hit the ground, sending up sparks. Jia stayed low and mobile. She had no chance in a direct contest of strength. Her only hope was to tire him, to make him angry and careless. Is that how they teach Vorik officers to fight? She taunted as she dodged another swing. Like angry children swinging toys. Krell roared and attacked faster. Jia kept moving, making small cuts with her pick when she could. None did serious damage, but each one made Krell angrier. Stand still and fight, he bellowed. Why? Jia asked, dancing away from another blow. So you can use your only advantage. On Earth, we learn to use our enemy's strength against them. She darted in, striking at his knee joint. Krell howled and swung wildly. This time, Jia wasn't fast enough. The edge of the staff caught her shoulder, sending her sprawling. Pain shot through her body as electricity from the staff coursed through her. The crowd gasped. Krell moved in for the kill. But Jia had been hurt before. Pain was just information. She rolled as Krell brought the staff down, missing her by inches. She slashed at his ankle with her pick as she moved. Krell stumbled. For the first time, doubt showed in his eyes. Jia got to her feet. Blood ran down her arm where the staff had hit. She ignored it. Your mistake, she said, circling him now, was thinking pain would break us. On Earth, pain teaches us. Every time you beat me, I learned something about how you move, how you think. Krell attacked again, but slower now, more cautious. Jia saw her chance. As his staff swung past, she ducked under it and drove her pick into the nerve cluster under his arm, exactly where Ta had shown her. Krell's arm went limp. The staff fell from his hand. Shock showed on his face. Jia kicked the back of his damaged knee. As Krell fell, she picked up his staff and jabbed it hard into the nerve cluster on his neck. Krell collapsed, paralyzed by pain. Jia stood over him, staff poised for a killing blow. The pit was silent. No one had ever seen a Vorik officer defeated in combat, especially not by someone half their size. Do it, Krell growled. Kill me. Jia looked at him, then at the watching crowd. Workers and guards alike waited for her next move. No, she said clearly. On Earth, we know something else about pain. It can teach mercy too. Krell's guards lowered their weapons. They had seen their leader defeated fairly in combat. In Vorik culture, this meant they now followed Jia. Take him to the medical bay, Jia ordered. Todd will treat his injuries. 2 guards picked up the still paralyzed Krell and carried him away. Jia turned to Han, who had watched the fight from the edge of the pit. How much time until the warship arrives? 6 hours, Han replied. Jia nodded. Get everyone together in the main hall. We need to make a new plan. An hour later, Workers and guards stood side by side in the colony's largest room. Some guards still looked uncertain, but none had tried to fight. They respected strength. The warship will have over 100 soldiers, Gia explained. Too many to fight directly. We need to be smarter. We could hide, suggested one of the Rill. Use the maintenance tunnels. They would find us eventually, Gia said, and punish everyone harshly. What about using Krell? Asked Sun. He could tell them everything is normal. Gia shook her head. They would check. Vorak don't trust easily. She looked at the faces watching her. There's only one way to ensure our freedom. We need to take the warship. Murmurs of disbelief spread through the crowd. Impossible, said a Vorak guard. Warships have heavy security. Not against their own kind, Gia said, looking at the guard. You know their protocols, their weak points. The guard was silent for a moment. Then he nodded slowly. Perhaps, but it would be very dangerous. More dangerous than staying here, Gia asked. When they learn what happened, they will kill us all. Graham, the old Dorn, stepped forward. I will follow you, human. You did what no one thought possible. You beat a Vorak commander in fair combat. One by one, others stepped forward. Workers, guards, all willing to risk everything for a chance at freedom. Gia laid out her plan. As the warship approached, they would send normal landing signals. A small team would go to the landing pad. Gia, 2 Vorak guards, Han, Sun, and 3 Navari. The rest of you prepare the colony, she ordered. If we fail, be ready to fight or run. In the medical bay, Gia visited Krell. He lay on a bed, unable to move his right side where she had struck the nerve cluster. You fought well, he said grudgingly. No human has ever defeated a Vorak officer before. There's much you don't know about humans, Gia replied. We evolved on a harsh world with predators all around us. We learned to survive by being smarter, not stronger. What will you do now? Kill me? No. I need your help. Gia leaned closer. The warship is coming. I need your command codes. Krell's eyes widened. You plan to take the warship? Impossible. You thought it was impossible for me to beat you. Gia reminded him. You were wrong. Krell was silent for a long time. Finally, he said, even if you take the ship, the Vorak Empire will hunt you down. Maybe, but we'll be free to fight them properly. And we'll teach others what we know about Vorak weaknesses. Krell studied her face. You are unlike any species we have encountered. He sighed. The command code is 7282-4 Alpha Cresh 9. Thank you. Gia turned to leave. Human, Krell called after her. If you succeed, take me with you. I would learn more about Earth. Gia smiled slightly. If we succeed, everyone who wants freedom can come. Hours later, Gia stood on the landing pad with her team. The warship approached, a massive dark shape against the sky. Her heart beat faster, but her mind was calm. This was their one chance. Han operated the communication system. Trakith 7 to Vorak ship Tarkith. We are ready to receive you. Standard docking procedures in effect. The warship responded. Acknowledged, Drakith 7. Beginning landing sequence. Gia gripped Sun's modified mining tool in her hand. She felt the weight of the small device he had made, designed to override Vorak security systems. The ship grew larger as it descended. Soon they would find out if her plan would work. Freedom or death waited in that ship. Either was better than a life in chains. The landing gear touched down with a heavy thud. A door in the side of the ship began to open. Remember, Gia whispered to her team. We only get one chance. The warship's door opened fully. A ramp extended to the landing pad. 2 Vorak officers walked down, followed by 4 armed guards. Gia stood slightly behind the 2 Vorak guards from the colony. They wore Krell's officer insignia now. Welcome to Drakith 7, said one guard. Overseer Krell sends his apologies. He is inspecting a new tunnel and cannot greet you personally." The ship's commander looked around. "Where are the workers? They should be loading the Carthium." "There was an incident in the mines," the guard explained. "A small collapse. The workers are clearing it now. The Carthium is ready in Storage Bay 3. The commander frowned. "An incident? That should have been reported." Overseer Krell felt it was too minor to bother High Command. The second guard said smoothly, "It will be resolved shortly." The commander seemed to accept this. "Very well. We will begin loading. And we brought new workers, prisoners from the Centauri sector." He gestured, and more guards appeared at the ship's door, pushing a group of chained aliens down the ramp. Ja watched carefully. This was not part of the plan, but it might be useful. The commander turned to head back to the ship. "Have Krell prepare the new worker assignments. We depart in 3 hours." "Sir," said the colony guard, "Overseer Krell requested you inspect the new security measures in the command center. The new systems you ordered have been installed." The commander paused. "I ordered no new systems." The guard looked confused. "But the orders came directly from High Command. Overseer Krell has the documents." The commander seemed suspicious, but also curious. "Very well. Show me these systems." It was what Ja had been waiting for. As the commander and 2 of his guards followed the colony guards toward the main building, she gave a silent signal. The 3 Navari moved quietly behind the remaining guards. At Ja's nod, they struck quick, precise hits to the nerve clusters that Ta had identified. The guards dropped without a sound. Han rushed to the new prisoners. "We're taking over the colony," he whispered as he began unlocking their chains. "Help us, and you'll be free." The prisoners looked stunned, but nodded eagerly. "Sun now," Ja ordered. Sun slipped into the ship, his small device ready. 2 Navari followed him. Their job was to reach the engine room and disable the weapon systems. With their ability to hold their breath, they could hide underwater or in ventilation systems if needed. Jia led another team up the ramp. They moved quickly through the ship's corridors, stunning or subduing any crew they encountered. The element of surprise was on their side. Within 20 minutes, Sun reported success. Engines secured, weapons disabled. In the colony's command center, the ship's commander was now tied to a chair, his guards unconscious beside him. He stared at Jia with a mixture of rage and disbelief. "You will die for this," he growled. "The Vorik Empire will hunt you to the edge of the galaxy." "Perhaps," Jia said. "But first, you're going to send a message for me." The commander laughed. "I will do no such thing." Jia nodded to Han, who activated the communication system. "The choice isn't yours. We don't need your cooperation. We just need your voice." Sun had modified the system to record and manipulate speech. By making the commander say a few key phrases, they could create any message they wanted. 2 hours later, the warship's engines powered up. Inside were over 700 former prisoners, workers from the colony and the newly arrived captives. Krell was there too, still partially paralyzed, but providing valuable information about Vorik protocols. Jia sat in the commander's chair on the bridge. Han worked the communications console beside her. "The message is ready to send," he said. Jia nodded. "Send it to all Vorik High Command channels." On screens throughout Vorik space, the commander's face appeared. But the words were Jia's. "This is Commander Vreth of the warship Tarkith. I bring urgent information about a newly discovered species, humans from Earth. We severely underestimated them. They possess combat techniques unknown to us. They target nerve clusters and weak points in our physiology." The message continued, explaining in detail the weaknesses of Vorik biology that Jia had learned and the fighting techniques humans had developed. "I strongly recommend avoiding conflict with humans. They appear physically weaker but possess extraordinary adaptability and tactical intelligence. For the safety of our forces, establish non-aggressive contact only." The message ended with something unprecedented, footage of Jia defeating Krell in combat. Han turned to Jia. Message sent to all Vorik command centers. Gia smiled. Set course for the nearest neutral space station. We need to return these people to their homes. And after that? Han asked. 1 month later, the Vorik warship, now renamed Freedom, approached Earth. After stopping at a neutral trading post called Nexus Station, they had dropped off most of the former prisoners to find transport to their homeworlds. But 12 aliens had chosen to stay with Ja, Locke, and 2 other Navari, 4 Rill who had no home to return to after the Vorik destroyed their world. Graham, who said he was too old to start over anywhere else, and surprisingly, Krell. The former Vorik overseer had recovered from his injuries, but chose not to return to his people. They would kill me for my failure, he explained, and I wish to learn more about humans. You are fascinating. Earth's defense systems detected the alien ship immediately. Warning messages flooded their communication system. Earth Defense Command to unknown vessel. Identify yourself, or we will open fire. Jia smiled at Han. Tell them Captain Ja Kim of the mining vessel Dauntless is returning home with friends. Confusion followed. The Dauntless had been reported lost 6 months ago. Dead crews don't come home in alien warships. Eventually, after much explaining, the Freedom was allowed to land at a military base in the Pacific Northwest. Armed soldiers surrounded the ship as the ramp lowered. Jia walked down first, followed by her original crew and their alien companions. Military officials stared in shock at the diverse group. A general stepped forward. Captain Kim, we thought you were dead. Nearly was, sir, Jia replied. But it turns out humans are hard to kill. The debriefing lasted 3 days. Jia explained everything. The capture, the colony, the uprising, the escape. Scientists examined the Vorik ship with excitement. Diplomats interviewed the alien refugees, especially Krell, whose knowledge of Vorik military strategies was priceless. On the 4th day, Jia was called to a meeting with Earth's Security Council. 12 men and women who made decisions about planetary defense sat around a large table. Jia stood before them, still thin from her time in the mines, but standing straight and proud. Captain Kim, said the council president, your report is extraordinary. You not only survived capture by a hostile alien species, but managed to free hundreds of prisoners and capture one of their warships. Earth owes you a great debt. Jia nodded but said nothing. However, continued the president, we face a serious situation. Your message to the Vorik High Command was clever, but our analysts believe it only bought us time. The Vorik will eventually come to Earth, possibly with a large force. They will, Jia agreed. But now we know their weaknesses, and we have something they don't understand, diversity. She explained how working with different alien species had been the key to their escape. Each brought unique abilities and perspectives. The Vorik believe in strength above all. They don't value cooperation or adaptation. That's why they'll lose. One council member leaned forward. What do you recommend, Captain? Share what we've learned with everyone on Earth. Prepare defenses, yes, but also establish diplomatic relations with the species we freed. Form alliances. The Vorik rule through fear and force. We can build something stronger through cooperation. The council discussed her ideas. Some argued for building more weapons. Others supported Jia's approach. Finally, the president spoke again. Captain Kim, we're creating a new department, Extraterrestrial Relations and Defense. We want you to lead it. Jia looked surprised. Sir, I'm a mining captain, not a diplomat. You're both now, the president said. You've shown remarkable ability to work with different species, and you understand our potential enemy better than anyone. Later that evening, Jia stood on a balcony overlooking the city with her alien friends. Lights sparkled below as the sun set. Is it all like this? Asked Locke, the Navari. Your world? No, Jia said. Earth has deserts, mountains, oceans, jungles. It's incredibly diverse. That's why humans are so adaptable. We evolved in all those environments. Krell, standing quietly to one side, finally spoke. The Vorak believe unity comes from sameness, everyone thinking and acting alike. But here, I see something different. Jia nodded. Unity through diversity, different strengths coming together. She looked up at the stars, knowing the Vorak were out there, possibly already planning their attack. But she wasn't afraid. On Earth, life had always been a struggle. Humans had faced predators, diseases, natural disasters, and each other. Each challenge had made them stronger, smarter, more adaptable. The Vorak had beaten her bloody, thinking pain would break her spirit. Instead, it had taught her how to win. That was what it meant to be from Earth. The end.